Hi, I'm Jennifer Firestone. Thanks to Barb Henning and David Kirschenbaum for inviting me to this. I'm going to read from a new collection entitled Art History. I decided I would see friends while I saw art. The two are a kind of friendship, the conversation intermittent with image, text streaming and vivid junctions, the space where people move between frames, bathroom and cafe and sun slant or fog roll, the artists alive and dead, and the friends living. During COVID, my interior images became bleak, like a Rubik's Cube of grays. I'm not a craftsperson or an artisan. I write words in touch with what I see and what I intermingle with. I'm a teacher, and I have truce with collaboration. When in COVID, I watched a lot of TV. Museums opened up virtually, but that made me sad. I didn't want to be on my computer looking at art. I didn't want to point the mouse to be led to a room to reveal the biography of each artist. I was remiss about openings and tours. It's not that I think artists shouldn't continue, it was that I stopped, even though my movements were fluid or perhaps choppy among interruptive flows of domestic tasks and teaching. I was staying still. It wasn't until much later that I could see what a bench in a museum could offer, or if I lingered on a deserted stairwell or pushed the exit to a cold front of air. My high school art history teacher clicked slide to slide, mostly Renaissance, some Impressionists. I was crying heavily from a breakup, and she asked me to leave the room. I love the click of the projector, its breathing hum, the intermediary space between image and image. What would be next? Which colors instantly stain my pupils? A certain intimacy presides when you're at a museum, a rebellion against stringent rules, social cues. Are you a reader or walker, or both? Purposely slow with the abstract rows of words and the placards, waiting until you move so I can follow. Do you want me by your side? Dorothy ran from piece to piece against the rules, the way she reads books 3 at a time. We had studied Vermeer's Light in one of her half pauses, the one where she stopped with hands on hips about to carry onwards, the chiseled, creamy faces and elegance buried in our deepest selves, the tender lips and placed hair, the light shining on features. Though expensive, I meet more and more at the museum's cafe to enjoy a museum croissant. I have a costly habit of buying art books. I'm sure I bought one with you. I don't hide it anymore, but tell my friends, we must visit the bookshop. It's like owning jewels. I flip through the pictures, my fingers touching the nice paper, and through the reproductions, I receive a little shock or glimmery something on my skin. I'm partial to books that are art. These books are pretty. And because I have been there in front of the art, the books are alive. A lot of people take photos of what they see. I worry about consumption, and yet I find out about art this way. When I'm about to take a photo, I say, why am I taking this? Hasn't this shot been done? I want to know about my integrity and desire. If it's up on a public wall, is it fair game? What would the artist want? If I take a bad photo, is that okay? If my reflection is bouncing off or the scale is wrong? I went to an exhibit about loss and shot many photos of people's words, their losses projected as floating clouds of text on the walls. The installation was located at an old church. The fall trees were ruby sapphire. I asked my partner, is it okay to post these photos since they're already part of an art exhibit? Jill taught me to make my intention known. In COVID, I talk less on the phone. I notice the leaves of a tree, the black cat on the outside table, or the rain hitting the mud, or when the light from the sun is ecstatic. I watched a Laurie Anderson lecture on my phone where he spoke about how we buy pictures of things. When I look at the screen, I have to imagine what the lavender sweater would do to my skin tone, what a mix of wool and cotton feels like during the summer. My mother took the children to Marshall's. They didn't know what is a store, what to do under looming lights, linoleum shine. One sat right down near the entrance on the floor and read his phone. I walked up and down aisles not knowing where to go. The dressing room seemed far away from the clothes and the housewares seemed near the giftwares, but I'm talking about art. There's actually many unofficial ways to show art. My child gave me drawings with shaky figures, their bodies stretched. If someone gives me art, I keep it. I put it on my wall and call it a gallery. All my art is from friends because I look at the art and then think of the friend who made it. Richard has his painting over a slim-scaled bookshelf and its vibrant blues and oranges are in action. Simone has magical rocks shimmering into shadows. Sally found the painting of the grapes or flowers at a yard sale. Rachel gave me the viney flower with purple buds by Mimi and called it my birthday. Judah's charcoal abstraction and Iris's charcoal pollution. What was left at Grandma Irene's, delicate pansies in gold frame. Jill's swath of yellow and royal blue, also a birthday gift. Ava's collaged illusion. Jimbo's wedded trees. Joanna's broadside of Stein. First private museums were created by wealth, prestige. They were called wonder rooms. I wonder how much the attendees were art lovers or more attuned to status. The other night, I was at a house with lots of large art, and I wondered if any of it was really expensive or authentic, and yet I don't know what either of those terms mean. The Metropolitan is the second most visited museum in the world. The Louvre is the first. You probably could have guessed this. I used to mark museums in travel books before I had a relationship to art. They were part of sightseeing buildings that encased important relics. I remember the chase to Mona Lisa, my heart pounding like a mystery, shuffling my feet quicker than the next person. It was hard to see the Mona Lisa, not only because of crowds, but because I had seen replicas so many times that it had gotten into my seeing, and I couldn't really see it on its own terms. There's always the filter of room, light, cologne, and language wafting, the mood and chemistry of spectator. When I saw David and all those naked and muscular sculptures in Italy, I was shocked to see how they were so violent, so male. I couldn't see the lines, the stone. Or when I leaned my head back to look at the Sistine Chapel and felt inadequate, like I didn't understand the craft of detail, the labor. And I don't know if this is in a dream, but I'm walking in the Metropolitan and passing on both sides of me is bust after bust. I said during COVID, when I see people again, I would also see art. It would be a constraint, yet liberating, a 2 to 3 hour event with some structure. We would talk, but then we wouldn't, as we would be viewing art. Then we would have material to discuss the artwork. Sometimes my eyes, my brain would be so full, I would feel hyper, like Charles Olson's sense of kinetic energy rolled into my veins, and I would walk and talk in a speedy manner and seem a bit off. I wasn't sure how to handle my body. I wanted to run or jump around and yell or laugh. The intensity of a blue might reach so far into me, it would feel like a kind of surgery or transplantation.